Got Manish Mohnot, the MD and CEO of Kalpaturu Power, to talk about what went by for the company in the third quarter. Mr. Mohnot, thanks so much for joining in on ET now. I'm going to start off first with your top line growth. Very steady quarter over there, robust revenue growth, in fact, you could call it that, because your sales have grown a neat 22%. So what exactly aided that sort of top line growth?
Good morning, Mabina. I think we had projected for a revenue growth of approximately 20% for the current year. Our order book, which was visible at the beginning of the year itself, gave us this entire push of achieving this kind of revenue. Also, if you see our numbers, a lot more revenue growth happened in our non-transmission business, which is oil and gas and railways, where our order book has grown significantly.
Okay, oil and gas and railways is where the order book has grown. So what about margins? I mean, that's come in steady at about 10.6%. It's just been where it was even in the corresponding quarter. What's the reason for that?
So on margins, we have projected for a margin EBITDA levels of around 11%. And if you look at a 9-month number, we are at more than 11%. We are at around 11.1% as of now. So we had guided for around 11%, and I believe we should be in that range. On a quarterly basis, the margins change depending upon the order book mix, depending upon what projects are delivered. But on a 9-monthly basis, our margins are around 11%, and we should be at this range for the current year.
Okay. What are the orders like in the pipeline? You mentioned oil and gas and railways did contribute steadily in the third quarter. So I want to understand, are those one of your higher margin segments? How is it within your segments? Which ones do contribute significantly to margins?
So if you look at our order book today, we have order book exceeding 14,200 crores, and we are favorably placed in orders of around 1,800 crores. A significant portion of the orders which we have favorably placed consist of the transmission division, which is around 1,300 crores, and 500 crores from oil and gas. On the margin front, our typical margin on our order book is in the range of 10 to 12%. It could be less in a few orders, more in a few of them, but average margins continue to be in the range of 10 to 12%.
All right. You've expressed a lot of confidence in the past on the international transmission and distribution part of the business of the company. So what's the growth you're expecting over there versus domestic? And if you could also explain to our viewers, how do margins essentially differ in international book versus domestic book in T&D?
So a significant portion of our L1 orders consist of international orders. Today, the 1,300 crores of L1 orders in transmission are all international primarily in nature. Typically, the margins in international are higher than the domestic market because the risk is slightly higher than the domestic markets, primarily on two reasons. One is the volatility in prices. Second, the nature of orders. They're more fixed price orders than variable price orders. So typically, it's higher, but clearly the risk is also slightly higher. So from that perspective, we expect that the margin on international should be higher than the margin on domestic projects.
Okay, all right. For the next year, what sort of order book growth are you penciling in? I mean, what are you expecting? Because I know for a fact that railways is said to be a big opportunity for Kalpataru. So, is at least in the domestic market. So, what can we expect in the next year?
So we expect to end the year at order book of around 15,000 crores in that range, and it should not be a challenge for us to at least get orders of 9 to 10,000 crores for the next year also. Because we're looking at revenue growth again in the range of 15-20%, and with an order book of 15,000 crores to begin with, we shouldn't have any challenges in delivering on revenue for the next year also.
Okay, great. So can we expect double-digit revenue growth in the next year as well?
Yeah, I think we should be doing a minimum double-digit, if not higher than that.
Okay, great. Thanks so much, Mr. Mohnot. Congratulations, steady top-line growth, and I think you are evincing that sort of confidence even for the forthcoming year as well. And of course, 11% margins is roughly what you're targeting. Thanks again, Mr. Mohnot.